A very warm welcome to you, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Politics Tonight. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, will on Friday chair a high-level dialogue on advancing the gains made within the first year of the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Tonight, our focus is Rivers political crisis, and my guest tonight is Honorable Solomon Bob, a member House of Representatives in Rivers State. Welcome to Politics Tonight, everyone. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Staying with us. Now let's begin with some developments in the polity. The Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, will on Friday chair a high-level dialogue on advancing the gains made within the first year of the administration of President Bola Tinubu. The event is part of efforts by the Tinubu administration to leverage international cooperation in delivering on the promises of the renewed hope agenda. Deputy Chief of Staff to the President in the Office of the Vice President, Senator Ibrahim Hadija, disclosed this at a press conference in Abuja on Thursday. He said the Vice President's keynote address titled Delivering the Renewed Hope Agenda Through Enhanced International Cooperation, Imperatives, Opportunities and Challenges will set the tone for discussions at the forum.
Our discussions will thus focus on how we can strengthen international alliances to create a multiplier effect of our collective efforts, for example, through the prism of the 4D diplomacy strategy championed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf M. Tuga, and other laudable initiatives to achieve the renewed hope agenda.
The high-level dialogue is not just a ceremonial gathering. It is a strategic confluence of leaders and thinkers in government, the international development community, and civil society, geared to deliberate on how to advance the gains made in the first year of the renewed hope agenda. It is a reflection of the Tinubu administration's resolve to build lasting international partnerships that will open new frontiers for our beloved country.
Justice Benjamin Lawan of the Adamawa State High Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of resident electoral commissioner Hudu Ari, who was suspended by INEC. The court directed the Inspector General of Police to promptly arrest Hudu Ari and produce him in court for trial on 3 charges. The warrant was issued following an application dated April 16, 2024, filed by the Adamawa State Government through its legal representatives. During the court proceedings, LD Inzadon, the counsel for the complainant, highlighted that the application sought the court's intervention in securing the defendant's presence. The judge noted that this was the 3rd instance where the defendant failed to appear in court. Meanwhile, some Adamawa residents have commended the efforts of the judiciary in protecting the country's democracy.
In all honesty, his arrest or his appearance will certainly be a litmus test paper, both to the democracy in Nigeria and also to the legal profession.
Let's also tell you that the national chairman of Labour Party has formally assumed office for the 2nd term. Julius Abure extended an olive branch to the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress. TVC News Jakadisa reports.
In March, Julius Abure was re-elected to run the affairs of Labour Party for a 2nd term by a unanimous affirmation of the party's delegates. But the Nigeria Labour Congress kicked. We have decided to form a party. At his maiden outing in his 2nd term, Julius Abure, along with some members of the party's National Working Committee, speaks on the state of the party. The national chairman seeks an amicable resolution of the crisis in the party as he calls on the Nigeria Labour Congress to embrace reconciliation.
The time has come for us to put our personal interest aside and work in the collective interest of the party and above all of the people of Nigeria.
He also announces the composition of a number of committees to better restructure the party and reform the political process. One of the committees is the Electoral Reform Committee, to be chaired by former chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Sam Amadi. Others include Political Education Committee and the Reconciliation Committee.
We must pursue with all our strength a holistic electoral reform in the country. Members of this committee will transverse Labour Party. We are going to bring in scholars, members, to bring them together in order to give us a working document that will form the basis of our pursuit of a holistic electoral reform in Nigeria.
Julius Sabure also does not see anything wrong in the recent visit of Labour Party's national leader, Peter Obi, to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former governors Sule Lamido and Bukola Saraki.
He goes to IDP camps. He visits politicians of all class. And so his visit to Atiku may or may not be related to politics. However, if visiting Atiku will make PO president, what's my problem with that?
For Labour Party, peace and reconciliation are still work in progress. Members of the party are hoping to see a resolution of all crises disturbing the peace of the party, such that it is able to serve as a formidable opposition in this dispensation. Joke Yadsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's now take a short break, and when we return, it will be time to speak with Honorable Solomon Bob, a member House of Representatives. Our focus tonight is Rivers political crisis. Please stay with us. Everyone, tonight we're focusing on the latest power struggle between the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara over the political control of the state, following the collapse of the peace deal facilitated by President Bola Tinubu and the efforts by the duo to strengthen their respective support bases in the state. Joining me for this conversation is Honorable Solomon Bob, representing Abua Odua and Ahwada East constituency in the House of Representatives. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Right. So a lot more has happened in the last 1 month in Rivers State. From Governor Fubara saying his gentility should not be taken for granted, to him inspecting the quarters of the state's lawmakers for alleged demolition, which he denied, to Minister Nyesom Wike saying he made a mistake choosing Governor Fubara as his successor and he would correct that wrong in due time. We also have Governor Fubara presenting his commissioner nominee to a 3-member House of Assembly. Rivers State Council chairpersons have also accused the governor of withholding money meant for local councils. In the last 48 hours or so, 4 more commissioners have resigned from the cabinet of the governor. What exactly is going on in your states?
Thank you. Your intro has captured quite a lot. I don't know where to even start, but it would have been appropriate for me to, let the public know the genesis of this whole crisis. I think it's appropriate to say that Governor Fubara, from the get-go, set out with bad faith. This tussle was primarily, as a matter of fact, it is primarily a tussle between himself and the House of Assembly. He fails to understand the dynamics of the relationship between a governor and the House of Assembly. He thought of them as maybe his hirelings or his employees. He doesn't understand that they have nearly co-equal powers with him. I've heard him say sometimes, basically extol the powers he has. But he doesn't understand that his powers are very limited in the Constitution. And he's not a ruler. He's merely a leader. Okay? And he cannot exercise demonstrate the kind of act of control behavior or untrammelled power the ruler can have over a kingdom. So these things started as a tussle between himself and the House of Assembly. Because I have information that, early on, he wanted to remove the leadership of the House of Assembly, the Speaker. That was how this whole power play started. It was not a fight between himself and Governor Wike. So people are ascribing the whole thing to Wike because of the fact that the lawmakers have failed to yield to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. And that essentially is because of the attitude he has brought into governance. He hasn't shown any restraints. He hasn't shown any sort of respect for the lawmakers, for due process, for rule of law. Okay? So the attempt to change the House's leadership was what triggered what we are seeing in Rivers State. So it was a reaction of the lawmakers following his own action that led to the series of actions that culminated in the attempt to remove him. So all of this could have been averted if he had come into governance with good faith. Like I said, I have every reason to think that he set out with, from the get-go, from the beginning, with premeditated bad faith. Okay? And he tried first to remove the House Speaker, and then thereafter to go after the man who made him. You know, what is shocking about this all is the purposiveness, the intentionality, okay, of his animosity towards the man who made him. I haven't seen anything. I've heard of governors, you know, who fall out their predecessors all over the place, but nothing quite like this. Nothing quite like this. This is exceptional. It's extraordinary. It's outrageous. What he's done in Rivers State over the last 1 year is unbelievable. You know, to even talk about the wanton destruction of state property, dissipation of state assets. How can a governor get up? A governor get up and mindlessly pull down an entire branch of government? That is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. So, and the fact that he has seemed to get away with it up till now is the reason why he's gone on to other acts, which you alluded to in your intro. For instance, going to case around the House of Assembly and making comments such as, to the effect that, okay, it's my property, and things like that. He doesn't understand the ethos, the principles of democracy. I think it's right to say that it's a stranger to democracy. Okay, he hasn't got to understand how we can bring about, work out a strategic workaround regarding those that you disagree. Politics is about disagreement. People in politics must necessarily disagree. Right. When we disagree, you work out, like I said, a strategic workaround to deal with the issues of disagreements. That is through engagement, communication. But he doesn't understand that his style is essentially confrontation, rooted in crudity. I have not anywhere in my work, in my whole life, I've been around quite a bit, anything like this.
Honorable, before we go further, let me take you back to your earlier statements, because I mean I must appreciate the fact that you're one of the very few persons who has taken it upon himself to tell us what exactly the bone of contention is. So, if this was not originally between Governor Fubara and Minister Wike, I mean, from what I heard from you, I hope I'm correct, you said this was originally between the governor and the lawmakers. I mean, many would have expected Minister Wike to, I mean, help resolve this issue before it escalated. Why didn't that happen?
Well, to be honest with you, the governor himself had demonstrated acts of disrespect and total disregard for Wike, like I hinted earlier in my previous comments. Okay? As soon as he came in, he drove a wedge between himself and Wike. That is the fact. Okay? He made himself unreachable, unapproachable. Basically, I said he had the mentality of an emperor from the beginning. There was a particular instance, one for an entire day, leading to another day, nobody could reach him. Nobody could reach him. He came into office with the mentality that, okay, I am a law unto myself, and in fact I can be an outlaw. And you are seeing that in the actions he has exhibited in Rivers State over the last couple of months. And then there's no place anywhere in this country where that would have been tolerable. Okay, he's tapping into, unfortunately, Rivers State does not enjoy the ethnic homogeneity of states like Lagos and many other places. Okay, what is accused, not by himself, although recently he has begun to come out in his true elements and made some, very caustic comments, including some profanity-induced or profanity laced, attacks and jibes at his predecessor. But he had used a lot of proxies to create an atmosphere of disinformation, very negative disinformation against Wike from the get-go, as a way to prepare the grounds to decimate him and then take over, become a new Lord Emmanuel. It's crazy. It's crazy. I feel personally embarrassed. I never thought that, after the dizzying heights of the predecessor's extraordinary performance, we will come to a place in our time in Rivers State where...
What is your relationship with both men? And as a federal lawmaker, how have you tried to, intervene in this battle that has lasted for more than 7 months?
Well, people know me for my candor. The point is, I have a very robust relationship with Wike. And I barely have anyone with Fubara, and that's because of him. Okay, I think he's very cold, he's very aloof, he basically projects two personas. He has a persona for the public, and another one for people, his base outside the camera. At the initial stage, he tried to project himself as a dove publicly. But I know that behind the cameras, he was always backed or broad like a leopard or a lion. Okay, and recently, I'm sure some of you have begun to see some of what I'm referencing. But in all honesty, I never had a relationship with him. But I know those who are very close to him. I told them, look, if he's the father of the state, it was incumbent upon him to reach out, call people together, say, look, this is what is going on. How can we deal with this? How can we deal with this? I know many of my colleagues who tried to reach him. He wouldn't even take their calls. So for me, it was pointless trying to reach out to a man like that. Like I said, he's very aloof. He's very aloof, and it seems he has an air of an all-knowing person. So I cannot stay here and say that, Fubara is my friend. No, he's not my friend. He would have been my friend. First of all, I don't subscribe to persons who behave the way he's carried himself. No, I don't relate to anyone authority on the basis of sycophancy. No, everyone knows I'm not a sycophant. What will endear me to you is your commitment to values, certain values, basic values, principles. A sense of sincerity. He hasn't conducted himself as a man who is sincere, because if he was, we wouldn't be where we are, because the person who made him trusted him, took him from obscurity and brought him to prominence. Right. And then he's been extremely uncharitable towards Rivers State. I won't speak about the man, Wike. Rivers State, our infrastructure has been destroyed. He has created schism between people who were previously very harmonious, relating very well. And he has tapped, like I said, into the lack of homogeneity, and tried to push, Rivers State to the edge of the precipice along the lines of tribe. It's crazy and unbelievable. It's sad.
Honorable Bob, you just said that.
Yes.
It's interesting. Yes. Yeah, you say the governor has two personalities, one for the camera and one for his close associates.
One for his base, yes. Outside the camera, yes.
Are you on the side of those who said perhaps Minister Wike misread Governor Fubara, and all of this happening is a reward for choosing loyalty over competence?
Well, the point about misjudging him, of course, is correct. He has said so himself publicly recently. He said so himself. He said it was a mistake. And I don't think that he puts loyalty over anything else. He might also have seen some level of competence on his part. But maybe that one too is wrong, based on what we are seeing now. Because if you are a governor under a constitutional democracy, your oath is to the Constitution, and the most important ingredient, of democracy, which differentiates it from military rule, is respect for rule of law. Rule of law, that is the key. That's what differentiates from the military regime. As a matter of fact, it's not about brick and mortar thing. Under military regimes, we were building roads, building hospitals, but the most important benefit of democratic rule consists in the intangibles, things like freedom, rule of law, and associated or related precepts. So I think he's a stranger to those concepts. So that is my biggest grasp with him. It is his lack of understanding, operation of those stuff, that led him to the points where he has made Rivers State now, and an absurd ridicule. I mean, absurd spectacle nationally. It's absolutely embarrassing. Every day I go out, people look at me. I have friends from far and wide, and they look at me and they ask me, the things you're espousing, how come in your state what's going on is in the exact opposite, and I'm nonplussed. I don't know what to say. I couldn't imagine in my wildest dream that we'll come to a point where we have this specter of absurd governance in Rivers State.
So, Honorable, I mean, when Minister Wike says he accepted that he had made a mistake and he will correct the wrong in due time, what exactly does that mean?
Well, it means what it says. I don't think there's any other spin I can put on it. What it means is that Governor Fubara will be given the time, the latitude of time it needs to govern and to see if he can take corrections. And my appeal to him is to pull back from the precipice to which he has pushed Rivers State, and understand that we have become a laughing stock. We have become an embarrassment, not just to ourselves, but the entire country. And I don't know how long things can hold if they continue along this path. And like I said in my previous comments, I think he overestimates the power of a governor. A governor in Nigeria, I know the constitution so well, inside out. A governor in Nigeria is essentially a hollowed out husk. Doesn't have as much power as you think he does. Okay, I know governors who have been chucked out, with the speed of, snap of the finger elsewhere in this country. He has many times, and it's not a big deal. He shouldn't overreach himself. He's done so many times, but he shouldn't push his luck too far, because people will tire out of this kind of chicanery. It's unbecoming of somebody who holds such an exalted office.
It was very important to ask you that question, because just today, the governor says any politician who hurts his people will pay dearly for it. And it's also very interesting to see that Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has taken a side. In a unanimous decision, members and leaders of the party in Rivers State have pitched their tents with Nyesom Wike. First, are you surprised? And what does this mean for the PDP?
Excuse me.
At a time... Hold on,
okay.
Honorable. Especially at a time the state chapter of the APC is trying to get its ashes together. Are you not worried that this might strengthen the fold of the APC and ultimately weaken the PDP ahead of 2027?
Well, what I can tell you is the power base in Rivers State rests very strongly with the minister. It's crystal clear. Okay, whatever the governor says or whatever anybody reasons what's going on, the governor cannot come anywhere. There's no proximate level he can come to understanding the dynamics and the power control in Rivers State. He hasn't got the nous. It's not about bravado. Politics is not about bravado. It's about know-how. It's about gravitas. And I don't see those in him. So I know that he has a coterie of advisors, people who have essentially misled him to get into the hellhole he is now. But we have no fears, where I stand about the direction and trajectory we are traveling, because the minister's capability in politics is, well renowned beyond Rivers State borders. So we have no problems. The governor is the one that has a rethink to do. He has to think, ask himself questions. Where is he going from here? Where is he going with this? Okay, and what's in it for him? Okay, and but above all that, he must know that he has a job to do. The job is to provide leadership and governance, credible governance to Rivers people, not to engage in acts of self-promotion and puerile bravado and muscle flexing and tough talking for the most part are actually totally meaningless. Some of them are, you can't even, there are people you can't even understand the context in media using some expressions. And in recent times, I've heard him use some terms that are far beneath what a governor should utter in his mouth. But it's what it is.
But Honorable, when you say, earlier you said Governor Fubara came in with the mindset of an emperor. And I mean, you would agree with me that some persons might not agree with you, because there was a time the governor was not saying anything. There was a time he was not replying some of the statements thrown out there, or some of the responses from media, several media chats by Minister Wike. Do you not think that it got to a point the governor was pushed to the wall?
Well, I just told you that he has two personas, one for the public, one privately. At the point when he wasn't talking publicly like he's been doing now, he was thundering down privately. And basically, I'm in the position of privilege. So a lot of the things he said, the places where he said them, some of them are my personal friends, some of them are my associates. I know the things he said in many places. So he was thundering down. Okay, it was just bad in his time. It was only a matter of time before he came out in his true elements. So it's not correct to say that. To try to dispute my assertion that he came out with a premeditated bad faith. No, I don't. I think I was right, because I know a lot more than you on this matter. In any event, I'm not going to say everything I know about it here publicly.
Now let's quickly talk about the peace agreement, otherwise called a political solution. Why was it so hard for this agreement to work? Why did you think, the governor had agreed to this, appended his signature, at a point said nothing is too big to sacrifice for peace in River State, and at the end of the day, this didn't work?
Well, I think, I'm sure you might know already that the meeting, the settlement was the meeting was at his instance. Okay, he was the one who reached out to the president, and we all went there. I was there myself, and then at no point did he try to question, the terms of the settlement. He accepted everything, and I think, in the grand scheme of things, you would agree that he was the biggest beneficiary from that peace agreement, because without that, he could have been history by now, because all the the balance of forces were, exactly. The balance of forces, was against him. So there was no way he could have escaped the hammer of the legislature. Okay, don't forget that under Section 188 is their job. And like I said earlier, he overestimates his powers. They can't remove him, he can't remove them. To that extent, they're even his master. Okay, so this agreement was honored more in breach by the governor. I think a day or two after they left Abuja for Port Harcourt, the assembly members immediately withdrew the means of impeachment served on the governor. But the governor was dragging his feet. It took a while to take even the most basic of steps. I know that the nominating commissioners took a while as well. And then up to today, one of the most momentous times of the settlements was the budget representation. He hasn't done it up to now. And that is one of the things that riles me. How could a man purport to have an appropriation law, by 4 members in a 32-member house? Even at that time, it was 31. In a 31-member house, how could that happen? How could that happen? They did not have the requisite mandate to sit. That is the quorum. Okay, the law is clear on that. Anything you do when you don't have the powers to sit, like going to court to try to litigate a matter, the first thing you will understand you have to have is you have to have jurisdiction. Okay, subject matter jurisdiction, parties jurisdiction, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then location jurisdiction. If you don't have any of those, or you don't have all 3 of them, you can't even have your matter entertained in court. So in this instance, he brought a budget before 4 persons that had absolutely no mandate to sit. Okay, that is an illegality, an absurdity that is hard to contemplate, let alone see happen. Okay, up till now, he runs a state without a budget. I'm asking, where else could this in this country have been tolerated? So he's cashing in, or tapping into the schisms, the divides of unfortunately tribe and other sentiments in Rivers State to perpetuate this absurdity, this illegality, this unlawful behavior, this out of control behavior. So yes, he basically destroyed the peace agreements, and it speaks to what I said earlier about his about the intentionality of his mindset, you know, to be an emperor from day one, to be an outlaw, to be, you know, someone who sees himself as a ruler, you know. So that's what it is. So,
but how much
unfortunately,
Honorable, how much influence do you think supporters of both men have on them in seeing that this crisis continues to fester? Because I remember Chief Victor Ben, who had called on the governor to shun sycophants and pursue reconciliation with Minister Wike. How much influence do you think the supporters of both men have on them? Also, how has it been so hard for religious leaders, traditional leaders to intervene and settle this matter?
Well, for any matter to be capable of being settled, you know, at least one of the dramatist personnel must be willing to listen. Okay? Let me first speak about the minister. Minister, I think everybody knows, is a stickler for rule of law and due process. I'm not here to praising him, no. But that is the truth. There's no instance, for example, in Rivers State throughout his 8 years where he consciously traduced the rule of law, where he trampled on the rule of law. No, that's not who he is. On the other side is someone like I've shown to you who has no regard for any of those precepts. So those around the governor, unfortunately, a lot of them are people who made Wike their enemies on account of his support for this guy, for Fubara. Okay, so I think one of the first things he did, which again lends credence to what I said earlier, was to reach out to them and surround himself with persons, you know, who have declared themselves implacable enemies of Wike. Okay, so in that company, what would he hear? What would he hear? The governor has, the former governor has shown, commendable and verifiable willingness, okay, to settle, to talk to him. There have been 1 or 2 meetings in Port Harcourt I was privy to. I wasn't there, but I was privy to those meetings, and I recall that the elders, reached certain agreements with Wike and Fubara. Fubara made promises, none of which he fulfilled. So it's a situation that he, with all sense of seriousness, that he created. He created it. I think, like I said, he was purposive in the way he came out from the get-go to try and overthrow the previous order and enthrone one in which he will be the overlord. But he hasn't got the nous or the know-how to go about it. He hasn't got it. That's the truth. Like I said, talk alone can't do it. Yep.
Honorable, isn't it worrisome that the PDP continues to look at both men, continue with this crisis? Because I remember that in April, Governor Fubara and Minister Wike were both at the National Caucus meeting. But I might be wrong, because this meeting went on like everything is normal. But there are 2 men at that meeting who are at each other's throat while the grass suffers.
Please, you have to repeat that. I'm sorry.
Did you get my question?
Okay, please. Can you say that again?
I said it's worrisome because Nigerians are wondering. Right. Nigerians are wondering why the PDP, this is the party where both men belong, why the PDP has, just been looking like everything is normal. Because I remember that in April, Governor Fubara and Minister Wike were both attended the PDP National Caucus meeting. So, I wanted to know if that crisis was a matter at that meeting, because it looks like the party is just watching these 2 men go at each other while the grass suffers. And that's the people of Rivers State.
Well, I don't think it's quite like that. I am aware that the party at some point, he himself, I told you his style is, one of aloofness. He had made himself up until the time when we went for the last NEC meeting, or maybe shortly before that. He had made himself also unapproachable to PDP leadership. I know persons in the national office who told me that. the governor was not reachable. And when this crisis started, reached out to him to come to them. He never did. They said instead he went somewhere else. He went to the president for the settlements, which, like I said, he has breached egregiously. So I don't think that the PDP is at fault if there has been no, there has been, some degree of reluctance to meet both parties. I would assume they have made some attempts, but the governor was at the very beginning unwilling. He sought solace somewhere else. So that's what I'll say.
All right. Honorable Bob, let's go on a break, and when we come back, we will continue this conversation. This is Politics Tonight. I will be right back.
Morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient. It's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyingo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Politics Tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I've been speaking with Honorable Solomon Bob, a member of the House of Representatives representing Abua Odwal Ahwado East constituency. And tonight we're discussing Rivers' political crisis. Honorable, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Now, the governor has also said he would probe the administration of former Governor Nyesom Wike. But if he decides to do that, isn't that being a judge in your own case? After all, it was the Accountant General of the state during that administration. And do you agree that, to a large extent, this will further heighten the already tense political situation in the state?
Well, yeah, it might be so, but I'm not even willing to indulge in examining that because, as far as I'm concerned, I think the legal instruments to back up that kind of, position is at best tenuous. I don't think he understands, quite well how that works. I understand a few days ago he empaneled 3 persons before whom he nominated someone to become an Attorney General. That one is absolutely unlawful. It's unlawful, and any products of that cannot stand the least challenge in the court to be thrown away. And just a little more about that, it just the strain of absurdity continues almost unending. I've been privileged a few days ago to listen to some comments by some lawyers. Maybe they were acting on his prompting, because I'm aware that he's sensible everywhere. Expends stupendous frivolous resources, promoting vile propaganda and disinformation everywhere. Someone was arguing at that time that, or himself has even said it, which is the funniest thing I ever heard, that the Rivers State House Assembly does not exist, or that they exist at his whim. That is terrible. That is terrible. He doesn't have any such powers. And as I speak to you, Nigerians ought to know that there is a valid, a subsisting court judgment, not an order, a judgment of a court, Federal High Court, the only court by the Constitution with powers, with jurisdiction to listen to claims or otherwise, or vacancy, or otherwise, in the House of Assembly, or with respect to the office of the governor or deputy governor, the Federal High Court, by Section 2723 of the Constitution. No other court has the power. Just a substitute judgment, a final judgment by Federal High Court. Keep in mind I didn't say final court. I said a final judgment by a Federal High Court. Up till now, unchallenged, up till now, subsisting, that has said that the 27 members are lawful in office. Lawful in office. So when I hear lawyers go to studio to make claims that are so absurd, so funny, and so prejudicial to the outcome of processes in courts, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. There is nothing in our laws today, as we see it, that says that those members are no longer members of the House of Assembly. They are valid in office. They are lawful in office by reason of that judgment I just mentioned to you now. I think it was by Justice Joseph Omotosho of the Federal High Court. That is the only judgment of the matter today. And the law is what the court says, not a lawyer's opinion. No, it doesn't matter your rank. It doesn't matter your rank or status. A lawyer's opinion is just an opinion.
We may have to wait for the court to determine that case. But
absolutely, I'm just trying to put it. Listen to me. Listen to me. I want to put it out there that the slew of disinformation and opinion handed down as received judgment or the law, received law, is false. Nothing like that. Someone said, I think it was Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, okay, that the prophecies of what the courts will do in fact, okay, and nothing more pretentious. That's the law. That's what the courts will do is the law, not a lawyer's opinion. And the court has said that those lawmakers are lawful in office.
I get that, Honorable. But in your
please go ahead. Okay.
I tried to say that Governor Fubara does not have the power to build because there are some people out there who have said this will further enhance or promote transparency and accountability. That's my question, Honorable.
Please help me repeat that question. Help me repeat that.
I wanted us to be clear. Did you try to say that Governor Fubara does not have the right or the power to probe Nyesom Wike? Because some persons out there, some stakeholders have said, if this happens, this will only enhance and promote transparency and accountability.
No, I have no quarrel with anybody seeking to probe anybody. My point is that the legal instrument for that to happen is tenuous. That's what I said. It doesn't almost exist. Through what he's just done last week, I think he needs to go and, people need to let him know how it's done. And the process has started, cannot bet what he's seeking to do. Yep. And I'm saying that in reference to, I'm referring to the person whom he claims is Attorney General through a three-man panel. So that's what I'm saying.
Because another angle there is that, if indeed former Governor Wike served the people of Rivers well, he should not be scared of being probed. There should be no reason for fear of being embarrassed. But what's the implication of this on governance in Rivers State?
Okay, I will attempt to answer, presuming that what I heard is what you said. Well, governance at the moment seems to be in abeyance. It's 1 year now, 1 year down the line. All we have to show for it, or what Fubara has to show for it, is a government that specialized in disinformation, in destruction, in demolition, infrastructure built at enormous cost to the state, okay, and seeking to do more in showing that he has no regard absolutely for the principles of rule of law, okay, by attempting to run a state illegally, unlawfully as it is, with no budget, spending money with no budget. My problem in all of this is, as much as President Tinubu has shown a level of understanding and tolerance, it seems that this continuing condonation is not even in his own interest, interest of the country. What example is showing? What example is showing? You give a man unfettered latitude to engage in mindless irresponsibility and disobedience of the law. You present the budget before 4 persons. You attempt to sideline. Of course, that will not stand. As line principal lawmakers and claim you have 3, one of whom you are proclaiming the speaker. What does that happen? That's ridiculous. That is just absurd in the extreme. I haven't seen anything this bad anywhere in my life. I haven't. And it will be remiss on my part to watch these things and not speak, to watch these things and not say anything, because history will come. Okay, when this was happening, what did you say? What did you do? Okay, months ago when this happened, I gave an interview where I basically condemned these actions. It seems that because of what appearing now to be the reluctance of the president to call him to order, he's doubling down on acts of lawlessness. Acts of, basically brigandage, executive brigandage. No one can condemn this highly enough. No one can. You can't speak badly enough about this situation we have in Rivers State, created by Governor Fubara. We had the best of intentions for him, and we all thought he meant well. He got into office and then turned a different individual altogether,
Right, so
but it's what it is, so, please.
All right, Honorable, as we wrap up tonight, I mean, obviously because this is becoming intractable, and it's a fact that politicians will come and go, but Rivers people will remain. What must happen for us to see an end to this crisis?
Well, I said it would be remiss on my part not to speak out if I saw things going wrong. That's why I'm speaking out. What will need to happen? There's only one way it can happen. He has to pull back. See, all the things he's accused Wike of doing, either by himself or through his proxies, pale into actual insignificance when I know what happens elsewhere. Wike did not do any of those things he accused him of doing. Some of which you know already. They're out there. They're funny. They're funny. It was an attempt to demonize him, and then of course the Nigerian public sometimes shows a lack of depth in analysis. A lot of them are latched onto it. I know many persons who have commented on it. Some of them are harbor their own grievances against Wike for their losses in last election. I know many persons from many parts of the political divide who think Wike was responsible for their failure. So they are seeking their pound of flesh, and then latching onto Rivers State issues as a reason to exert a pound of flesh. Every time they comment, you just know where they're coming from. So basically the government has to pull back. He has to pull back. I won't mention this, but I can mention states here if I was pushed. Where predecessors are enjoying a harmonious relationship with their successor, okay, and the demands they made of their successors. If I were to tell you, maybe your ears will tingle. So, but nothing must happen in Rivers State. It's just drama of the absurd, by governor who obviously felt that he had to destroy his predecessor in order to create a fiefdom for himself. But I don't know. Thank you.
Right. I mean, Honorable, you would agree with me that this is not the first time Rivers will have a successor-predecessor political squabble. I mean, many Nigerians would like to know, why is this so? And for broader perspective, how can this crisis between governors and their successors be checked?
Well, yeah, it's true. At the push now, I really can't put my finger on who has had a successful transition Rivers apart from Wike. But that is not the issue I want to discuss now. What can be of more importance is to essentially repeat my appeal to the government to pull back. That is the only way you can have peace in Rivers. Pull back and understand that you have a limited time. Everybody in public office has limited time to show what they can do. Okay, and how do you want to remember it? As someone who came and then caused catastrophe, caused problems, created animosity between everybody in the states, created divides where once there were bridges. Or you want to be remembered as somebody who came and did his best, did a good job, and then left the scene. Okay, so it's hard for me to say or hypothesize about what can lead to better relationships between governors and their predecessors. I think that it all depends on, we all bring to the table of politics who we are, essentially. You really can't say about what people are until they show their true nature to you.
All right.
At the very point, it's like a shot in the dark. So you only wait until it comes out and see what happens.
All right. I mean, from my end, we hope this crisis is resolved soon and the people of Rivers State truly enjoy the dividends of democracy. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I've been speaking with Honorable Solomon Bob, a member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for your perspective tonight.
Thank you, Jumoke.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. Using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone.